think and ask questions and things like that. Just a show of hands, those of you who work with children from the ages of 3 to 6. Great. Yes, kindergarten or pre-primary, yeah. Anyone who works with children from 6 to 8? Okay. Do any of you work with any older children? Okay. Sorry? Sorry, say that again.
Shall we leave?
No! You're very welcome. You're very welcome, although this is specifically for the younger age range, but you're very welcome to stay. Is anyone a teacher, educator, or working in university? Okay. Does anyone hear anywhere else that I can ask? Something I haven't asked about? Are you all teachers of English, or are some of you educators? That is the generalist pre-primary educator. Anybody here a generalist pre-primary educator? You're all teachers of English. Or trained a few more years for that. Okay. So, yeah, I wonder if it's possible to just show the name a bit? Is it not possible? I could say to have a... It's been resolved, sorry. Yeah, you don't want to see the two of my slides, do you? So, I was working really well this morning. So my session today is you can think about play. I've started talking about play and researching play because it's an area of English language teaching that tends to be forgotten. Even though we're working with small children, and we know, that's the way I want to see it. Thank you. Thank you very much. And we know how important play is for young children, but often we go into the classroom as teachers of English and we focus on language teaching and we forget the relevance of play. And so this is why I talk about this a lot. And I have a lovely hour-and-a-half workshop where we actually do different activities, which is not possible. So I've tried to put as much of what I would like you to know into the session, but not cram it too much. Let's see if I've been successful. I've got lots to share. So we're just going to briefly look at European guidelines, and you might have different ones in Turkey. What is play? What is a learning area? And what is an English learning area? Managing English learning area, and hopefully we'll have time for questions. So in European Commission documents, it says the following. Children should be exposed to the target language in a meaningful and possibly authentic setting in such a way that language is spontaneously acquired rather than consciously learned. So as English teachers coming in, or teachers of English coming into a classroom, we focus on language, and we are looking at conscious learning as opposed to spontaneous learning. Is there anything in the Turkish documentation that says something similar? In the English language teaching model, yes, and it also talks about acquiring naturally.
Yes.
Does it mention play at all?
Yes. Games and play, contextualization.
Okay, games and play. Okay. Anyone else got anything they want to add to that? Okay, so as I've said, I'm talking about play, and we've already heard mention of games and play. They're not quite the same thing, although you can use them to the same means. But play itself sounds really something that we're not quite sure what it is. So have a little think, talk to the person sitting next to you. Something to, is there a word that you use that you think means play, or is there an actual definition that you have? Or, yeah. Just 1 minute to talk to the person sitting next to you. games might have rules and play doesn't, okay?
In terms of games, you try to
Okay, I didn't want to talk about games, I want to talk about play.
We are not trying to win in a play. We are
Okay.
just like acting something.
Okay, so it's about role playing,
Like
dramatizing, okay, it's not about winning something. So again, you're comparing games and play, okay, okay.
the way of moderation.
So that
Way of moderation.
it's a way of moderation.
Motivation.
Oh, motivation, sorry, yes, play is motivating, lovely. This lady and then you.
I'm going to compare play and games again. It's
Okay.
easier this way. Games are more structured. They have rules. Plays are more spontaneous, and there's not an end goal to the play. Children just stop doing it when they get bored.
Right.
But usually there is an outcome for a game. The students either compete with the time, they can compete
Right.
with themselves, or with the game itself.
Right.
So the game is more structured, more rule governed, more outcome oriented, and it has a set of rules, which is just the opposite of play.
Okay, did everyone hear that? Do I need to summarize?
We heard
Sorry?
we heard
You heard it, yeah, no, it's lovely, thank you very much.
Imagination comes to mind.
Absolutely, yes, imagination is very important in play. It's always more play is more creative, yes, because it should be freer. Although, yes, okay. Anyone else have anything to add?
To me, play is a natural environment of learning for children, and peer learning is happening when you talk about play.
Yes, lovely. Play is often associated with children together and learning from each other, which might not happen so much in a more formal language learning context. We've come up with some brilliant, really. So I think you probably know what play is. So you might not get anything out of the session, I hope you do. So play is a child's work, and it means whereby this was written in the 1940s, it means whereby he grows and develops. And I like this in particular because it shows the relevance and importance of play, which and it might be different in Turkey, I don't know, but in most European countries, it's not normal for play to be included in language learning activities, mostly because they are short spurts focusing on language learning for maybe 35 minutes a day or even a week. And the person who is responsible for that would be a language specialist who knows very little about child education. So they won't plan for play, and in 35 minutes it's quite difficult to plan for play when children don't have a lot of language either. So it's a problem in ELT. But let's have a look then at some of the differences between play and other activities. And in fact, they've already been very nicely described here. It is about choice in play. A child will decide what they want to do, when they want to do, and how they want to do it. Therefore, they are in control of what they're doing because they have decided what to do with it. Highly motivating, that was something that came up. And it uses imagination, so we've got that one as well. It is about pretense and symbolism, pretending that you are something or that you want to do something, and using objects symbolically. Like a child wants to be a pop star, so they take a plastic carrot from the house corner, it becomes a microphone. So it often involves feeling the what if or as if moments. I think I've cut this slightly to have. Now, the idea that play has no rules is a very interesting one. And when you compare play and games, yes, in that sense there are no rules. But Vygotsky, I'm sure you're all familiar with Lev Vygotsky, he very clearly states that in fact play does have rules. And there is always, children will, they know that if they're in a house pretending to be mother and baby, that it is the mother who feeds the child, not the child who feeds the mother. So in a lot of these role play-like activities that are play-like, there will be rules which children follow. So yes, when you compare play and games, the rules are not the same, but there are rules which govern the way play takes place. So I just wanted to say, but thank you for that.
You're right. The social rules are different from the rules.
Yes. Exactly. Yes. the opportunity that children have to be able to explore something as they wish to. And in many early education areas, in many pre-primary schools, kindergarten, whatever you want to call them, the space will be open plan for children to be able to choose different activities and engage in them as they want to. And they need to do that by themselves without an adult being there, because they need to be in control of what they do and try things out and have a go and make mistakes but not be worried about that and not feel that it's going to be a problem. And it's this kind of play that we very rarely see, at least in the context in Europe, where we very rarely see child-initiated play for a real happening, because if a teacher appears for 45 minutes once a day or once a week, they're not going to have time to set up child-initiated play. And so the play that we normally engage in with children is adult-led play which is often based on games during circle time, where we will set up activities and we will decide what it is we want the children to do with the language. Even though it might be play-like, it's not play in its real sense. And so getting this balance in our planning or even in our programme of providing opportunities for children to engage in child-initiated play, but also knowing that we need adult-led play because children also need exposure to language. Because if they don't have exposure to the English, they won't be able to use it in play. They will fall back on, in this case, Turkish, or in my case, Portuguese. So it's a real issue in our English sessions, but it's also an issue, actually, in general education, because academics and practitioners are still trying to work out what the right balance is between child-initiated play and adult-led play. That's a whole other section. So this is a typical early years setting in most European countries. Would you say that here in Turkey it looks pretty similar? Or
Yeah, but some parts.
So I mentioned the idea of children having access to different areas, different stimuli to be able to play. Can you recognise any of those areas there? If you want to just have a look and then talk to the person sitting next to you. Do you recognise opportunities for bilingual. Okay. So a lot of what I'm saying you probably do I mean, a lot of what I'm going to say you probably do anyway. Okay. Because my focus is very much on the foreign language context where children will have little English for spurts. So this is how learning areas work in mainstream education. The educator will set out particular activities or particular resources that they will want the children to engage with, and they will use these resources, play with them, and they have decided what it is they want to play with and how they want to play with it. And the educator should be an observer more than anything else. Sometimes they might be a co-player, but only when they're invited in. Okay? The role of the adult in children's play is still being investigated, and it's still an area which many people don't understand, and they don't understand how much you need to actually interact. So that's whole area. So what happens here is that children are given responsibility and they learn about being responsible human beings through play in that kind of context in general education. And you can see that they are respected as autonomous learners. This is one of the goals of pre-primary education, is to develop an autonomous learner who will then go out into the world. Unfortunately, at least in Portugal, when they get to primary education, that autonomy is stripped away from them. And they sit in rows and they have no choice whatsoever, but that's another story. So what then do we do as English language teachers when we have to do what I said, we are parachute teachers, and we drop in for our 45 minutes however many times a week. And we tend to do circle time and table time, and we will have our focus, we will focus on language, and we can't fit in play, we can't fit in that lovely child-initiated play that I've just described. So what we can do, and what I've been investigating and what we've been doing in Portugal for quite a while, and it's also happening in parts of Spain, in Cyprus, and in South Korea, and possibly other places too that I don't know about. We have an English learning area which will fit into all those other areas that we've seen in the classroom. It's one other option, one other choice for the children. When the English teacher goes away, leaves the classroom, the English learning area stays. Yeah? So it's a permanent place in the classroom, and all of the resources which the English teacher has been using, which prompt the children to think in English, to use English, are left in the English learning area. And they are given the opportunity to decide if they want to play there or not. Remember, choice is really important. So if they don't want to play in the English learning area, they don't play in the English learning area. They might play in the computer area, or they might play in the small toys area. They decide where they want to play. But you'll find that most children will want to play there fairly regularly. And if not, it's the responsibility of the educator to help them decide, so you haven't played in this particular area for a while, would you like to? And there is some exciting things for you to do there. Okay, so what we have then is we have a nice mix of adult-led directed play during your visits. You're in the classroom focusing on the different things that you want the children to be able to say in English, using particular resources. And here we have, this is actually a generalist educator who's from Italy, and she's showing children a particular game that she would like them to play in English with her during the circle time. But then once they've got familiarised with the language they need for that game, then she puts it into their learning area, and the children are playing the game by themselves. So in actual fact, what happens here is there's a lot of games in the learning area because they are perfect mediums for chunks of language which the children might have been learning with the educator. So here we have whole class interaction circle time with the educator and the peers together. And in the learning area, what you have is child-initiated play. They've decided to go in there and play with a particular resource, and they can do what they've done with the educator, or they can be creative and do other things too. And from my observations, I've seen that that's what they do. What's happening is that they are learning from and with each other. So Vygotsky actually compares adult-led play to talk to formal instruction, and teacher and child-led play tends to be informal in its instruction because the children are learning with each other. Whereas I've observed children in a foreign language context with low exposure, an hour a week, correcting each other and helping each other to say things in English. So it's group and pair interaction, which again is something we know is really important, and children interacting with peers. So these are just some of the activities that happen in the learning area. That isn't all in Italy. So what happened was the classroom was actually divided. The little bit at the end of the classroom was turned into an English space. The children had to go through a special arch which they decorated with their pictures, and on the other side of the arch was everything that they had in English to play with. Here we have them playing with different flashcards, with lots of decorations of things they know how to say in English around the room, access to all sorts of things. Here they're retelling a rhyme, Itsy Bitsy Spider with a spider puppet. Here they're playing bingo with the weather. This girl is calling out the weather words, and these children are covering the cards. And here they're playing with some flashcard games. So, and as you can see, there's no teacher in sight, just taking the photographs. And these children will be using English. These are actually very old photos from the late 90s. These are actual real photos that I had to scan. They weren't from... so this is what we call a learning area, an English learning area. And it's a shelf with all the different resources which the children go there and take them to the carpet to play. This is actually a carpet space, and one of the walls which full of sacks which hold all the different resources which the children know how to use in English, and rhymes and things they know how to say and do in English. And this is a more recent photograph. Again, it's a table with all the different resources, lots of reminders of the rhymes the children know in English, and lots of flashcards and books and things like that. So it's a space where children can go and collect or take the objects they associate with English and then use them as they want to use them. Any questions? I'll just talk a bit about this one. So here we have very game-like activities. So we've actually played noughts and crosses. So these are flashcards, they're face down, and we play noughts and crosses. And if a child is correct in saying what the flashcard is, he can put his cross on his nought. It's actually a strategy game. So this is a nice game for your 5 and 6-year-olds. Here the children are telling each other stories. Here they're playing bingo together. Here they're role-playing, telling stories together, playing a board game. Here we have a little girl who's pretending to be the teacher and playing a game, giving instructions. Here we have another teacher-child interaction. And this girl actually said, in Portuguese, "I'm the teacher, you're the student." So there's a lot of imitation of what they see happening in their English lessons, which is perfectly normal because that's what they're experiencing in English. So these are at the bottom here. These children are doing things with the resources which they haven't actually seen the English teacher do. So they are going beyond imitation, but using the language that they know to play with the resources. So they're using their own creativity there. Any thoughts, any questions on what I'm showing you here?
Do they really speak English when they're playing? It's really easy for them to turn to Turkish, perhaps?
Absolutely, it is. But they know that because each area has its own rules. So if you go into the house area, the children know that only 3 or 4 children can go there. They need to make sure they tidy up afterwards. Yes, there's 2 particular rules for one particular area. In the English area, they're allowed to go into the space, and they know that they should speak in English, and they know they should tidy up after. So these are rules that they know they need to follow. And yes, there will be Portuguese. There'll be Portuguese for management issues. So if a child is struggling or has a problem, then they will use Portuguese. But with the actual resource, and while they're playing, while they're doing the activity, they will speak in English because that's the language they associate with that particular resource. And also they know that that's one of the rules of that area. Yeah? And then what will happen is that when playing is finished, they will come back to circle time with the educator, not with the English teacher because she won't be there, with the educator. And the educator will ask them, okay, so what did you do? So she'll speak to all the children in Turkish or in Portuguese, and they will tell them what they did. And when the child is talking about the English area, the educator will reinforce, and did you speak in English? Did you help anyone speak English? Can you remember what you said? So it's not isolated. So it does mean that your educator needs to be on your side as well. That even though they don't speak in English, we've got educators for many years who don't speak in English, that they are able to show an interest in what the children are doing in English, which is really important, You don't have the educator on your side. You know. Any other questions about this? Can you see yourself doing it in your context?
We unfortunately don't have English learning area in my school.
But no, very few schools do. You have to set it up yourself.
They've got stations like that
Right?
with family teachers.
Yeah.
So when it's our lesson, we have 13 hours of English a week. So some of the lessons are free playtime.
Right.
So we give them that. The younger ones to speak English around it.
Right.
So they try to do it. And one of them, they just try to complain about that student, for example.
Right.
She speaks Turkish, for example.
But one of the reasons they probably can't speak English is because they haven't learned how to speak English with a particular resource. So,
But they know how to do it. I mean, they try to express themselves in a really good way.
well, that's good.
So they motivate each other. And it's not like making full sentences. It's one of two
Yeah.
words, as you know. But
Absolutely.
still, you can understand what they're telling, what they're
Yes.
trying to tell.
Yes.
So it's just really working.
That's a very good point, yes. It's not full sentences, unless they've learned a chunk, a particular chunk to use a particular thing. Some children they'll spout out whole bits of English which they have naturally just used out of the repetition of the teacher. But often there will be single words, or there might be a Portuguese sentence with a couple of English words in the middle, but in the right place. Yeah, so that they know that it is an adjective or it is a noun or something like that. Okay, so any other sorry.
I have a question.
Yes.
About these corners.
Yes.
I was just thinking, if we use this kind of places just using the language, how can you manage the number of the students? You know, there are some corners, this is more popular, for example. Everybody's
Okay.
going there and
Because this does not happen during the English lesson. Yeah, it happens during the day. So there are times in the day when the children are all playing, and that will be organised by the educator, the generalist educator, who will have her own way of deciding or helping the children decide where they want to play. And I've worked with many educators, and they have different ways of doing that. So they might have lanyards, and the children are sitting in a circle, and they have to choose the area, and they wear the lanyard, and off they go. So the last child to get the choice probably will not go to where he wants to go. Or they have a rota where they know that if they've chosen something one day, they can't choose it the next day. So that stops that kind of thing. So and this is something that the educator will know. So if you're responsible for that somehow in your 13 hours with your children, and you know that 28 children cannot fit in a little area, then you need to collaborate with them and find out how they organise, moving the children around.
Even after they get used to the system, the children, they also decide where to play. I mean, they put the rules for the others actually. They say, you play more than you say.
Right.
So it's our turn.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's children have learnt to be autonomous, so that's
it
great.
takes time.
It does. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's something which you need if your educator can be your ally. It's really important. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to move on. So, what we need to think of ourselves are teacher as mediator, so we're mediating between the resource and the language. Yeah. So we realise that during circle time, what is it that we're doing that helps the children pick up the language? What opportunities are we giving them to take on as much language as possible? So they're not just answering the questions, but they're able to ask the questions as well. They're not just doing the actions, they're also giving the instructions as well. Okay? You also need to be a planner, because you need to be aware of how the resource and which resource is useful for you to leave in the area, so the children have access to it so they can play with it in English. And it's here where you need the support of your educator to help you, because you're not in the classroom. She's the one who's going to be organising the time that they spend, when they can do it, and how the space works. Something else that is important is the rotation of the materials. They can't always be the same and look the same. So, I'm not sure if any of you in this kind of context, where we have a little bit longer, maybe 2.5 hours, but this often works. I wasn't sure if I'd have anyone from language schools here. No? Okay. But in language language schools where you might have a little bit longer, but maybe just once a week for 2 hours, for example, then you might start your session with centres when the children come in, and then you come together afterwards and you talk about it with the children, what they've done. Or you could split up your session and have the centre time in the middle after a table time activity, for example, and then they would individually, once they finish an activity, they would choose. So you would have to set up little centres in your classroom. They would all have a resource that's related to English, and the children would decide. It might be books, it might be something on the video screen, it might be flashcards, it might be a game, it might be dressing up, it might be puppets, whichever the resources you've used with your children. So, what then can be put into the ELA, the English Learning Area? So I've already mentioned flashcards because this is something that I think we all use, and we should do, because they provide that visual support which the children need. Lots of different game-like activities can be played with flashcards. The children like to replicate them. Any games that you have created to help the children read language. A large dice is a really nice resource. The children just love throwing the dice, and they will just say the number, or just jump it and say the number. But it's incredible how it prompts language. They love folders with pictures and drawings of things that they know how to say in English, and they will just browse through, point and say the word or expression, or even tell the story. So picture books and story cards as well. They really enjoy sequencing the story cards and saying chunks of language from the story, or wearing the props, the role plays, and role-playing the story together. An English puppet, and they will pick it up, put it on their hand and start using English. And any posters that you've made with your rhymes or your songs, which will have images which will prompt them to begin saying the rhyme or the song. They're very popular. But anything that you use with your children during your teacher-led circle time activities will go into the English learning area. And you're probably thinking, well, I go to so many classes, it means I have to make a lot of resources. You do. Because every class you go to, you have to leave resources in. So you have to be good at making resources. You can't rely on that one copy that the publisher gives you. You have to make your own stuff. The children can help you as well. So what kind of language do they use? Well, children, of course, will naturally label. They'll be using lots of single words at that time. Perfectly natural, they're little exposure, and that's the first thing we do when we learn a language anyway, we label. So that's very normal. They'll begin to question, so they say things like, is it, can it, am I, because those are the little questions that you would have brought into lots of the game-like activities during circle time. They can confirm, no, it isn't, yes, it isn't, no, I'm not, yes, I am, yes, I can, no, I can't. They often correct and teach each other. So you walk into a class and there's always going to be 2 or 3 children who are leaders, who pick up things quickly. And they naturally take on that teacher role and they help their peers. They narrate stuff, they will open up the book and they will tell the stories, even if it's only to themselves. They will chant and they will sing if they're prompted to by the visual. They even make jokes. And that really is creative with language. They will use a particular word or a particular chant in a place which is funny. And they deliberately use it then because they want their peers to laugh. And they play. They really do play with the objects, because it ticks all the boxes, most of them, in the sense that they've chosen to do it. They're using that resource as they want to. They've decided how they want to do it and what they want to do, when they start and when they stop. So that's pretty much what we've decided to play. So, you're probably thinking, okay, so how does it actually happen? Well, I just want to give you a little bit of theory about Jerome Bruner. When he was in Oxford in the 70s with colleagues, he was really interested in discovering how children learn to communicate. And so they watched dyads, parent and child dyads, about hundreds of them, and they discovered a thing called a format. And a format has a sequential structure, clearly marked roles, and a script which is consistent and repetitive, and it supports communication. So, first format that Bruner discovered with his colleagues was this one. Do you know what this game is? Peekaboo. Right, peekaboo. And it's the very first, what is it in Turkish? Te-e. Oh, lovely. Te-e. Okay. In Portuguese it's cuckoo. So, yes, it's peekaboo. And so, if we think about this in relation to a structure which happens repeatedly. The mummy looks at baby, uncovers her face, mummy uncovers her face, and then the baby reacts. Yeah, that's pretty much basic. Okay. The roles are mummy is the hider and baby is the seeker, if you want. Yeah. And script is peekaboo. And I also think that the script is laughing, because that's what mother and baby do when they, peekaboo, and they both go, ah, and the baby waggles his legs around. Yeah. So that's a basic format. In fact, it was the first format that Bruna described and shared with the world. And this is actually really important because it helps us think about what we do in our circle time. Because we can think about formats for the game-like activities which we set up, and also for the routines which we set up in circle time. One more thing that we need to remember is the handover. Now, I'm sure that many of you have encountered babies who will have gone through this particular format, but they now go, peekaboo, peekaboo. Yes? Because the parent has handed over that role, they have become the hiders. And that's really important, because what's happening is they are learning both the laughing language and the peekaboo language. They're learning both scripts. Yes? And this is what we need to make sure that we do with our English, with our children doing English, is that we hand over so that they become the leaders and they can take control. So a format then is a routinized and repeated interaction in which adults and children do things together using language. That is what we do in our English classes. We do mini formats all over the place. We just have to be aware of them. And once we become aware of them, we become aware of the language they involve, or they need, they require, both as the teacher and as the child. And you're able to ensure that the child has that language to go into the ELA, to go into the English learning area. So let's then have a look at just one little game for you to get the idea of a format. So this is a game we all know. It can be called Kim's Game, it can be called Helmanism. I'm going to take one of those cards away and you're going to tell me which one I took away, yeah? You know the game? Yeah, what's missing? Yeah, there are a number of different names, okay? So, Helmanism is the peg. Anyway, so we've got our farm animals here. The children will probably know, or beginning to learn some of the farm animals in English. Do you recognise them? There's a chicken, there's a cow, a duck, a sheep, a goat, and a chick. Okay? I'd like you to cover your eyes, and I'm going to take one away, but no peeking. No peeking, cover your eyes. Okay. One away. Anyone tell me what it was? Yes, what is it? It's, I think it's a cow. Let's see, is it a cow? Yes, it was the cow. Well done. And we might do it again. The child who guessed it was a cow would come up. Okay. So yes, that's a very simple format. So, can you think, what was the structure? No, the structure. Not the script, not the script. If you think about script, what's the structure? Yeah, you put up the card. Yeah, you ask the children to close their eyes, yeah. Then you take one away, and then open your eyes, and then, right. So that's the structure. That happens every single time you play this game, okay? And that's important that the children know that that's what's going to happen, yeah? And then you have your script, which is, what's missing? Well, first of all, it's cover your eyes or close your eyes, whatever you want to use as long as you're consistent. Open your eyes. What's missing? Okay, right, well done. So, there we go. And the roles are, someone is responsible for hiding and someone is responsible for guessing. Yeah, okay, good. So here you have the script there, and I don't know if you remember this little photograph that you saw earlier. This is what the children were playing, and this is what they were saying. So this little boy was the teacher, and he was saying, close your eyes, open your eyes, what's missing? And this little girl here was saying, well, she will say when she's opened your eyes, that sister is missing. So that's the script. So this is how they do it, because you've become aware of what it is you're doing during circle time, and you've made sure that children have come up and become the teacher, so they can learn the script which they need also to lead this activity in the learning area. Okay? Often teachers think that they are the ones that have to be at the front all the time, but in fact it's very important as soon as you can bring the children to the front so that they can take control and lead the game. So another such activity might be a guessing game, so these are the same animals, and I've decided I want to choose one, and you have to guess what it is. So I've chosen one, so you'd say things like, is it a cow? No, it isn't. Is it a goat? But yes, it is. Or I would say, no, it isn't. Can I ask the question?
Is it a sheep?
Yes, it is. Well guessed. But what's important then is the child comes up and hides, yeah? And then gets the opportunity to, in this case, to say yes, it is, no, it isn't, because you're giving the class the chance to say, is it a, is it a, is it a, okay? So the examples help you see the relevance of the handover. Okay? So, a couple of minutes here. We look at a kind of model. This is taken from Play Spiral by Janet Moyles, and this is for generalised education. So in Janet's Play Spiral, she would start with the children playing, and then the educator would be responsible for helping those children see what it was they were doing. But in English, because the children don't have the language and they need it, we have to start with teacher-led directed play in sample time, where we're exposing the children to the language. So then the resource goes into the English learning area, and the children can start to play with it, start to get used to it, and get the feel for the resource and the language to be used with it. And then when the English teacher comes back, there's a little bit more focus on that particular resource. And then, again, it goes into the learning, or it stays there the whole time. So you gradually get this motion of children playing and then coming back with the English teacher, and then playing, going back to the English teacher. So this would be over a period of maybe 4 or 5, 6 lessons. And then, of course, that supports growth and development in English. I've written about this, I've published about it, there's stuff online. There's a handout which is on the website, the conference website, which will give you all this information with links that you can read, and there's a webinar that you can watch. Sorry?
Can we reach the slides?
You can, but what you've got online is it's all written out. So pretty much what I said here is there. Okay? So Ella's in these learning areas, when organised and resourced to coordinate with teacher-led activities. So things that you've done with the children. They are an effective and an age-appropriate means of facilitating additional opportunities to exploit English that the children are learning with you. And I think exploit is a key word here, because children very, very rarely get a chance to exploit, and exploit in its real sense, for my benefit, for the child's own benefit. They need to exploit English, otherwise what's the point of them learning it? They really need to use it because they want to enjoy it and have fun. And they will do that if they are able to use English to learn. So that's what I had to share with you. Have you got any questions or anything like that? Any more questions?
How many minutes per day of free playtime do you reckon? In the idea.
That's a really ideally. Well, I think they should be playing almost all day.
Yeah, but
yeah, it very much depends. In our case, there will be days when the educator doesn't even organise play for the children. So, but it's not, because we've left at that time, so we're what I call parachute teachers. You go in, you do your bit, and you leave. But I don't know, half a day. But I mean, I'm no play specialist. But play should be, children should be playing a lot more than they actually do. Any other questions? Yes? Yes? Right?
Throughout the presentation, I told myself whether I wanted to adapt this
Yeah.
really into the primary school. But
Yeah.
since our class doesn't have much space, they are more of an area system.
Right.
So we don't have learning areas in each corner
No.
and stuff like that. So how can, like, the preschool, they probably want to be
They should, yes, they should expect it in yeah, they should.
Since there's no space, how can you, like, I
Yep. So what you could do is give the children miniature versions of the different activities that you do in your lessons. So they can take them into the playground. You could leave it there, but you could also give it to them to take home or to use in the playground. Or could there be a room where they could go after school which had some of these things? Maybe, yeah. But what you need is to give them the opportunity to use what they learn with you, with the resource they've learned, because they will associate that resource with English. That's key. It's like parents that bring up their children bilingual. You have one parent, in my case, I have bilingual children, my husband's Portuguese. I always spoke in English, and my husband always spoke in Portuguese. It's a very common way to bring up children. So the children associated English with me, and they associated English with Portuguese with their husband, and with my husband not there. and so that's how they learn the two languages. And this is how this works really, because they associate a resource with a language. Therefore, they will only use that language, the key word, with that resource. And again, if you have, I don't know, in your case, do you have different rooms for English and Turkish?
No, we used to, but there's more classes now, so we share.
Okay, because another thing is space. Sometimes, so this space is the English space, they only use English here, and this space is Turkish, they only use Turkish. So, or times of the day, you've got times of the day, haven't you? Morning is English and afternoon is Turkish. So this helps the children associate the language use. Yeah, so they realise, okay, it's morning time, so we're speaking English now. After breakfast and lunch. That's right, yeah. So they know that this is an activity, this is a game which they only play, this is a book which they only read, this is a song which they only say in English. They make that association. Any other questions? Thank you very much for coming. Thank you.